Hello, hello, hello. It's Max again for another match day. Today we're gonna be doing the minor league for match day number 9, and I'm pretty excited. We have a good couple matchups here. Capstad versus Paris, I think, is gonna probably be one of the most interesting ones today. Athenai with Satoshi in goal versus the Soul Seven. It's gonna be quite tremendous. But here we are already with Capstad versus AS Paris. Honestly, this transition was a lot quicker than some other weeks, so I'm kind of excited to just get into this. Paris with their five back, you love to see it. They've picked their form right back up ever since kind of having a little bit of a poor stint, especially against Athenai where they lost in the cup and a bunch of other mishaps along the way. I'm excited for this game. I think it's gonna be probably the best in the match day. So here's Ashworth playing it back to Skovgard. Skovgard taking his time, passes it to Hunt. Dobra being pressed, but he passes it back to Obranka. DeWitt now with the ball, trying to take it down the wing. Gorgon trying to play it safe. Out to Hunt. Hunt finds Ashworth. Hunt again, taking it up the middle. Out to Calderon, but Calderon loses it to Dybala. I think, has been probably one of my favorite players this season. When he turns on, he turns on. And I mean, it's just crazy what you can see him do. But here's Fantobenz in with the corner. It gets popped right back out. Belmont, another star for AS Paris. But here's Fantoben with a nice 1-2 with Gorgon. And at like 2%, heads it very calmly back to Kerrigan. But yeah, honestly, I think that the kind of the attacking, I guess, trio of Habjanic, Belmont, and Dybala is pretty fun to watch. But here it is. Slap head getting, and it just falls in from Ron Wintz. What was going on there? Hall unable to pick it out from the corner. It was just a bunch of bobbles and it just kind of fell back in. Jeez. That was a weird goal. I mean, I have no idea what Hall was doing there, unfortunately. But nonetheless, Paris find themselves 1-0 up in an important game. As you can see so far, I mean, Paris are kind of playing like a 5-2-3, I think. Yeah, but nonetheless, I think it's been working out so far, and that's kind of been the thing that they've rocking, I think, all season. But nonetheless, it works for them, and that's all that matters. As long as, I mean, as long as Belmont. Oh my God! But here he is. What a pass by Wins. Belmont is going to take it on his own, but Obranka with the shot blocked. He clears it away. Wentz has been on fire so far. The first 30 minutes plays a great chance for Belmont and also kind of taps in a funky goal. But nonetheless, here's Dobra. Fantobenz is going to try to maybe put him across. No, he actually gets stopped by Lizard. But no, it's back to Dybala. Out to Hunt. Is Hunt going to have a shot? No, but at like 2% is, and he scores it. Goku at like 2%, the third goal of the season. Well, that was a fantastic take. Capstad right back in this 1-1. I mean, that was fantastic. Dobra, Hunt just finds at like 2%. Kind of, it's a perfect ball. Habjanic just can't track back the way that he probably should. Aoi is just not on his mark in there. I think that it's kind of the wingers and the wing backs that fell asleep there, allowing at like 2% to find himself in the middle between the two. Here's Paris again. Kerrigan stepping quite far outside of his box. I don't think I've seen a keeper do that in a minute. But here's Belmont. Belmont loses the ball to Obranka. Obranka has been a wall so far. And that was a very poor clear by Hall. But here's Oi. Oi. Oh, no, it's Habjanic. Okay. Sorry. It's just so much happening right now. But here's Wintz. Is Wintz going to have a shot? No, he passes to Belmont. And Belmont hits the post. Now, that was a chance and a half. But here's Lizard again, Slaphead, trying to rotate it. But no, now does Capstad have the counter? Dobra on the ball. He passes out wide to Fentobenz. Here's Ashworth. Lewis Ashworth gets taken off the ball by Slabhead. Slabhead doing important defensive work right there. But Belmont hitting the post. That was to take the lead again, but unfortunately, they were unable to do it. Correct me if I'm wrong. I I'm actually 100% right. It was Ron Wentz once again playing a wonderful ball out to Belmont. Ron Wentz has been on one today. You can see it with his match rating and the XG chart. I mean, it's quite obvious who has had the clear cut chances so far this game. Caps had lucky to still be in this, if I'm being honest. But nonetheless, you have players like at like 2%, Lewis Ashworth, Marian Dobra. It's hard not to have the chances to score, and they're lethal, especially when you give them one chance, which really, if I'm going to be honest, they've only had one clear-cut chance so far this game. But nonetheless, here comes some subs. A great start to the match day. I mean, it's not like 3-3 or anything like that, but nonetheless, it's been pretty fun so far. End-to-end stuff. You see, I mean, that goal by Capstad was wonderful team play. That's exactly how you should be playing it, out wide at like 2%, which is a great name. And he's able to just slot it past Kerrigan. Here we are for the second half. Kupinas comes on. Kupinas, born in Lithuania, moved to the Netherlands to play his academy season at Victoria Falls, and he finished the season #1 in attempted cross, successful crosses, and key passes. Fun fact. Sour wine, now having the ball, kind of playing it back to, finds Kerrigan again. Kerrigan, funny enough, I think is probably one of the only goalkeepers that comes that far out of his box. But here's the Dybala. Dybala plays to Festerhausen. McFootcakes, sour wine. Oh, and now it finds Wins. Wins, is he going to have a second? No, he does not. Paul is there to put the stop to it. Ball on the corner. See if he's able to put a good one in. But nope. I may have jinxed it there. DeWitt out. Bar in for the throw-in now. I said look a little bit erroneous in their heat map. Seems like some of the midfielders are playing a little bit, but no, here's Gorgon. And then it's headed over by, no, I think it may have been Gorgon again. Not too sure. But as you can see with the heat map, for the little flashes, Capstad looks a little bit erroneous. Here's the ball with the corner. Oh, and it hits off the post, I think. Or maybe it was Hall that got a hand to it. I'm not too sure. But nonetheless, the ball has the ball again. It's going to play towards the middle, but here's Sourwine, Belmont. Sourwine, again off the post, and Hunt is able to get it out, but it falls right back to Aoi. Puts in the cross, but then it's cleared again. McFootcakes now has the ball, and that's the action over. How many times have Paris hit the post at this point? Three? What was it? Belmont, Wentz. I think it was Belmont again. It's been ridiculous. But here's Paris again. Ron Wentz, who's been running amok in the midfield. Out to Dybala finds Lizard out on the wing, but Lizard's going to take his time, trying to dribble around, find it. No, but he plays a terrible ball, and Skovgaard from Capstad picks it up. But Skovgaard's making quite the run. Kupinas, now he's all alone versus Kerrigan. Kerrigan makes a great save to turn a bit in behind. Kupinas should have done better there, if I'm being honest. That was a one-on-one, but nonetheless, here's a corner out from Hunt. Gorgon takes the shot, but it's wide over. Capstad trying to find their way back into the match. I think just straight up with that one chance, it's almost equaled up the XG chart. But nonetheless, football's played on the pitch, not on paper. And you might be saying, oh, but this is just a simulation. There's code, blah, 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 blah. Code is quite fancy and magical. So I'd say it's the same way. So here's Obranka on the ball. Is it out wide to at like 2%? At like 2% already having a goal in this match. He's going to try to play past Aoi, and he does. He puts in a great cross, but no, it finds Kerrigan. Let me go back on my words. That was not a great cross. Straight to Kerrigan. Here's Slabhead now, trying to take it out of the defense for Paris. Sourwine. Oh, Sourwine plays a crazy ball to Habjanic. Habjanic out on the wing. Is he going to find a cross? No, he's going to try to take it himself. But it's then knocked away with Skovgaard. But here's Lizard. And it's wide right. Hall. I think he would have gone to a hand to it had it been on target. But nonetheless. Lizard now for the throw-in for Paris. Lizard plays it to Dybala. Dybala, he's going to cut inside. But he plays it to Oi. And Oi with a master strike. That was crazy. Finds its way past Hall because of just the absolute power behind that shot. That was fantastic. Oi finding a goal in this match. And now it's 2-1 Paris. 110% to 0 from Paris. They've been on it all game. Dybala just finds it to Aoi. I don't think that the ball was expecting Aoi to take that shot, but nonetheless, he had a crack at it. First time. What a finish. I mean, it's really been Paris's defense and midfield that's been running this game. But we have one more chance, I think, for at like 2% who picks it up in Capstad's half. But no, Dybala finds it somehow. Lizard being pressed gives the ball away to DeWitt. But DeWitt gives the ball away to Wintz. And then it goes back to Obranka, who finally picks the ball up in his own half, in his own 18-yard box. But here's Skovgaard trying to play it out. I mean, Capstad need to be on it for this one. They want to tie it up. Fanto bends. Kupinas then pays it to Calderon. Calderon, he's going to find Lewis Ashford with Kerrigan with an absolute crazy save. Fully stretched, but nonetheless, it was offside. So no matter what would have happened there, it would have been completely nullified. But here's Calderon. Do they have one last chance in it? Oh, he plays it out. Finds Dybala. I think it's all over. Calderon picks it up, but the referee signs, blows the whistle, and says it's all over. That was an amazing game. 2-1 isn't a crazy scoreline, but nonetheless, I think we've had so many great moments in that match, and that was awesome. Man of the match, Ron Wintz. They put Aoi. I understand. Both are the same match rating. I think it's just a random roll at that point. But Ron Wintz absolutely dominated that midfield. Oi, give him all the props. I'm not taking away from him. If you're gonna have like a podium, right, top 3, I'd say it's probably Ron Wintz, Oi, and then maybe at like 2% gets the 3rd spot. But that one in 2nd place, it's like maybe a couple millimeters from where the podium should be. Very little to differentiate the two. But nonetheless, what a game. I mean, Paris, they ended up having the same amount of shots on target, but nonetheless, Paris kind of dominated that game. I think that Capstad had quite the few opportunities, but getting on into our next game, Rapid Magyar SC versus North Shore United. Magyar, I think, just picking up their first win last match day. I think we're gonna finally, see if I'm correct, but they had an interesting formation for those of you guys that remembered. I think they had like one center back. It seemed like it was just try to score as many goals as possible and have the opposition not score less, not score. You have one center back. The opposition is going to score. It's just outscore your opposition. Is this going to work against North Shore United? I'll be honest. I think it's going to be a tough task for Magyar to outscore North Shore United, especially since it's just a historically big team. So yeah, I was right. Oh, yeah, no, this is the same formation as last time. It's I'd imagine that they're kind of playing like a 5-2, like 4 or whatever. That makes no sense. 5-1-4. But nonetheless, Paris now finding themselves 6 points ahead of 2nd place. What a performance from them. But here we go with Rapid Magyar versus North Shore United. This is going to be exciting just to see if Rapid Magyar can continue their form of one game. So it's not really a form, but their win from last match day with this funky formation. I don't know how else to describe besides funky, but here's Rashford the 3rd on the corner. He's going to play it in. Lynn heads it out. And Stamp is going to try to run away with the ball. Izevich presses him, but no, it's out to Jimothias. Van Gerritsen. Van Gerritsen's going to take his time. Finds De Soto. De Soto finds Budo. Budo finds Lind. Lind goes back to... I'm not pronouncing that. I can't pronounce Icelandic names like that. It's Nordic, right? And Stamp. Stamp is going to take his time, but Lind tries to find Scott, and he does. Scott has to get past Warwick, but he doesn't. Lind finds it again. Lind, he's going to have a shot, but no. It just kind of... says it was a corner kick. I guess Mobik got a hand to that. I'm really surprised. I didn't know that Mobik got a hand to that. But nonetheless, that guy heads it away. Come on, man. This is what happens when you don't do your research. It's honestly quite sad. But nonetheless, I gotta be better. Kanizevic. Nico Rashford now has it. But he finds Chris Warwick, and Chris Warwick puts it away. It's 1-0 North Shore United. Rapid Magyar kind of asleep there. Von Bismarck unable to get it out. I've seen calls from Honingham, or I guess North as he's known in Discord, calling for a new goalkeeper. for Rapid Magyar. I don't want to say too much just because Von Bismarck, I've seen some good moments out of him. But nonetheless, sometimes you got to be asking some questions of the goalkeeper, especially in that regard. But here's Chris Warwick, finds Mitadiero. Back to Chris Warwick. Chris Warwick is then kind of having a little bit of a pass around with. But here's Andrews. Andrews makes it 2-0. North Shore United going up quick, doubling their lead. But I think most of us soccer fans, or I guess football fans, yesterday watched Barca versus Inter. We saw what happened when Inter got a 2-0 lead. Barca were able to turn it right back. And there's no extra time in this. So, we'll see how this game really ends up playing out. Yeah, Chris Warwick was kind of like playing a pass around with, I think it was Stamp or something like that, or Henrik Lind. But nonetheless, here's a cross. Von Bismarck this time picks it out. Von Bismarck going to take his time, wait for his team to get forward. I want to pronounce his name, but I think I'm going to make a fool of myself on camera. I guess not camera, but on mic. But here is Ball. Ball finds his way to Derbatov. Derbatov has space. O'Sullivan makes it 3-0. Rapid Magyar in absolute shambles. North Shore United making no mistakes this game. They had a slow start of the season, but they've been on fire recently. Beating Montreal last game, but here's Derbatov finding a load of space and O'Sullivan. Where is the defense? Nah, this is actually ridiculous. I know they have one center back, but be for real. Lind is just kind of in no man's land, and then you have O'Sullivan and Mitadiero just completely open top of the box. I swear to God, they could have just okay, here's Andrew with the free kick. Skies it. But back to that last play. I think that Mitadiero and oh my God, now I forgot who scored the goal. But nonetheless, they could have just passed it around the goalkeeper and walked it into the back of the net. But here's O'Sullivan again. It was O'Sullivan and Mitadiero. But here's Warwick, and Warwick makes it 4-0. In the first 22 minutes. This is going to be a massacre. I'm seeing 8, 9, maybe even 10-0. O'Sullivan, Timotheus tries to block it out, but it finds Kenesevich, and then De Soto kind of deflects it in past Von Bismarck. You have to be asking so many questions of this Rapid Magyar team. So many questions. But Mitadiero plays it out. Is Scott going to have a goal? No. Mobek is able to save it. A quick note about Mobek. I was reading an article that he published the other day, and I'm really surprised at how athletic he is with these diving saves. Because all he likes to do, which he admits, is nap and eat pizza. I have a little comment about the fact that he didn't save a single penalty in that penalty shootout versus Cairo. But he's been playing good this game, so I'm not going to hate on him too much. Miko Rashford, now in the corner. John Gerard heads it over. Andrews on the outside of the box, plays in a cross. It's going to find... No, it's not find Kenesevich. Timotheus is able to play it out, but here's Chris Warwick. Chris Warwick, he's going to play it inside, plays in the cross. It finds Derbatov, but he heads it over. Chris Warwick's been fantastic this game. Absolutely fantastic. De Soto now. De Soto has the ball. Timotheus plays it right to Mitadiero, even though they're not on the same team. Mitadiero plays a very soft pass to Chris Warwick, but Chris Warwick has space. He finds O'Sullivan, who finds Chris Warwick again. Chris Warwick, he's going to have a shot. And Von Bismarck makes the save, making it, instead of, 5-0, he keeps it up 4. But here's Miko Rashford the third. Plays in the cross. Jean Girard finds his head, but it goes over. Fantastic performance by all of North Shore so far. Ball, the Rock of Gibraltar and Jean Girard haven't had too much to do, but nonetheless, Jean Girard has at least been in it, and Mobek's made a couple of good saves. But here's Rashford again with the corner, and this time I finds Derbatov to find his way into the back of the net from a header. The short stature of the man, but nonetheless, he finds his way past all the defenders of Magyar and is able to head it past Von Bismarck. Looking back at it, this is like Aguero jumping over 30 different defenders just to find his head to the ball, and then is able to push it back into the back of the net. But here's Chris Warwick again. Jeez, 5-0 in one half. But here's DeSoto. DeSoto's going to play it out to Van Gerritsen. Van Gerritsen plays it, has a shot. Mobeck is able to clean it up very easily. Jeez. This is, I don't want to say sad. Sad is a little bit mean. Worrisome. Let's give Magyar the benefit of the doubt. You know, they're an expansion team. I don't know if North has ever had another organizational managerial position within the league. But nonetheless, it's not his fault whatsoever. It just comes down to the fact that you don't have the quality of players that you need. And I mean, you can see it with how some players are just performing game in, game out. I mean, I've liked Budo so far this season, but he can sometimes be a little bit, not untrustworthy, but a little bit fragile on the ball. Might not be the best choice of words. But here he is. Budo plays it out to Timotheus. No, sorry, Justinison. Plays it back to their center back. Still not going to pronounce his name. You know, maybe that's another thing. No, never mind. Timotheus plays it to Justinison, who finds Van Gerritsen wide open. Nope. Nico Rashford's there. Derbatov now picks it up, plays a wonderful ball to O'Sullivan, but O'Sullivan, first time passes it back to Chris Warwick. But here's Rashford on the corner. Rashford plays in a cross, and then it gets headed over by Andrews. No clue who was there. But nonetheless, here's Von Bismarck. Bismarck plays it out. It just finds its way back to North Shore. It feels like everything that Magyar is playing is just finding its way back to North Shore. I'd like to see them get a consolation goal. Clearly, like, you're facing against, I guess, top 5 teams in this league. And when you have formations that's just like, I need to score as much as possible. I can't do anything but score. It's not going to, okay, Kendisevich, 3rd goal of the season. Nonetheless, he makes no mistakes there. Von Bismarck's already on the ground. He can't do much about it. The defense nowhere to be seen, and he makes it 6-0. But also, as I was saying, like, you're Magyar in this situation, right? You've been performing poorly all season. You don't know what to do, so your idea is just, let's try to outscore the opponent. It's just you go against these top teams, and you just unfortunately don't have the firepower to do that. I'd say, like, put a Belmont there, put a Dybala there. Maybe you have a chance to score 3 goals and then hope that the opposing team just has a terrible day out. But here's Ball. He's going to have a shot, but it goes wide. Sorry, Henrik Lind blocks the shot wide. But yeah, like, it's either you have the best attackers in the league and you just hope that your opposing team just doesn't have a good day out when it comes to shooting, or your goalkeeper is on fire. Let's all be honest. That summer performance yesterday was, I think, the best goalkeeping performance I've ever seen. I liked Emi Martinez in the World Cup final, but yeah, I mean, besides, here's Albanison. It's then blocked by Gibraltar. Martinez was great in that World Cup final, but Jan Sommer put out a performance that I've never seen before. But here's Van Gerritsen for the corner. Finds no one besides North Shore. But Scott, he's going to play it out wide to... And here's Henrik Lind, but he plays it... Sorry, he shoots it wide over. Yeah, I don't see Von Bismarck having those kinds of performances anytime soon. But here's Jean Girard. Plays it back to the rapid Magyar center back. But here's Budo trying to take it up. He's going to find Henrik Lind back. Just innocent. Finds Van Gerritsen out wide. Van Gerritsen's going to play it towards the middle. He had so much space on the outside, but nonetheless. North Shore United again with the ball. And they're going to just play it wide out. I think they were looking for Chris Warwick, but Chris Warwick doesn't have those kinds of legs. You have to be the Flash to find that ball. But here's Andrews again. Chris Warwick just outside of the box, just finding every single ball. But he plays it across and it finds Scott, who clears it. But here's North Shore again. I don't have a break, but here's Ball with the cross, and this time it finds O'Sullivan, and O'Sullivan's able to make it 7-0. The players aren't even reeling away in celebration this time. They're like, this is a day at the park. I feel like I'm 10 again. Nothing matters, and all that matters is I'm able to put it past the goalkeeper to the back of the net. What is going on? I mean, North Carolina is a great team. Magyar hasn't been great, at all this season. But nonetheless, like, you, I'd expect Von Bismarck to, I guess, move a little bit closer to the ball, try to at least dive so that he can, have a little bit of showmanship. Even if he missed the ball, like, at least he tried. It just looked like he was standing there. He didn't put his hands up. He didn't do anything. Not to harp on Von Bismarck, this has been a poor team performance. You win as a team, you lose as a team. But nonetheless, it's been a ridiculous game. 7-0 is not a fun scoreline to see. And I don't like to harp on teams too much about, oh, they've been playing so poorly. But here's Stamp. Stamp, is he going to shut my mouth? Places it to Justinison, and they get a consolation goal. But it's nothing more. 7-1. Let's all remember the great scoreline of Germany 7 and Brazil 1. But this isn't the same thing whatsoever. I would not say that Magyar is comparable to the likes of that Brazil 2014 team. And now there's no short to that Germany 2014 team. But nonetheless, I don't like to harp on teams too much, but shambolic. I think I saw a quote from, I think it's Alfie Bunsen, where in their article, they put, let's pretend that we can defend. I feel like that's the vibe that Magyar are giving off. But here's Magyar again. Van Carrington. Mobe pushes away, but it finds Albinson again, but Albinson is offside. I like that quote. I think that Andre Caetano said that he was going to steal that quote. I've stolen the quote. I haven't really stolen it. I gave her props. But nevertheless, it's North Shore again with a shot that's then ricocheted off the Magyar center back, who then keeps the ball. But, oh my God, it's North Shore again on another corner. I hope you guys realize there's still 15 minutes left in this tie. It's 7-1. I swear to God I heard of a mercy rule. I guess it doesn't apply anymore. But nonetheless, this is ridiculous. Nico Rashford again on the ball, carrying it out on the wing, but Henrik Lind is there to stop him. Henrik Lind, I think, has been the best Magyar player all game. But here's Albinson. Gibraltar picks it up. Oh, he passes right to Albinson. And Justinison is able to find his second goal of the match, I believe. Yep, it is the second of the match. 7-2. Maybe, you give some extra time to Magyar, able to tie it up. Hey, I mean, if it took 60 minutes for North Shore to score 7, why can't it take 60 minutes for Magyar to do the same? Unfortunately, you don't have 60 minutes left, so. Point null. Stamp now with the ball. Chris Ward kind of chops at him, but nonetheless, Van Garrison finds it and then is blocked away. I think it hit off the post there, did it not? O'Sullivan taken down towards the midfield. He's on the ground. Henrik Lind is going to be carded, rightfully so. And the medical team is going to come out to look at O'Sullivan. Van Garrison. Oh, no. Nazevich. Derbatov. O'Sullivan's just wide open. Has one man to beat. But Von Bismarck's there to parry it away. Another Miko Rash for the third corner. Plays it in, and then it's headed over by Derbatov. I want to look at how many corners they've had. 12. 12 corners. Sorry, 13. 13 corners. 1-3. Oh my God. I mean, if you're talking about domination, I don't think we've seen a dominating performance as this so far this season. But nevertheless, it's it's been fun to watch because of the goals. But you have to feel bad for Magyar. I don't think that they. I mean, I was gonna say they don't deserve the scoreline. They deserve the scoreline. But it's just you have to feel bad for the players. You have some real outstanding players in this team. Budo, Henrik Lind. I mean, Von Bismarck hasn't been bad this game. De Soto's been great. Justinison, Jim Matthias. Oh, but O'Sullivan again open. He hits it wide. Sullivan has had so many chances this game. I mean, he scored a lot of goals. He could have, I think, like 7 or something like that. But here's Miko Rashford again out on the wing. Plays it inside for Kinisevic. Kinisevic is going to have a shot, but it hits the outside of the net. And it's all over 7-2. The XG is such a lie. Like, it's not. It, it's just ridiculous. It shouldn't be. Oh, it was only 4 to 2.3. It's ridiculous. That wasn't at all like that's 4-2 is a way more respectable scoreline compared to 7-2. I think the scoreline should have been 7-2. But let's talk about the players. O'Sullivan, man of the match, I think deserved. Nico Rashford, again, you have 2 games back to back where you really can't separate the 2 highest rated players. Nico Rashford having 13 corners. I guess you can say that he wasn't as effective from those 13 corners, but 3 assists, 4 clear-cut chances created. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Also, these stats are just kind of crazy to look at because you don't feel like it was at all this close in terms of, stats. Magyar puts up 19 shots. I didn't see 19. I know it's extended highlights, so it's not exactly the same thing. But nonetheless, it didn't feel as close as the stat line is showing. But hey, that's, again, I'm going to reiterate for maybe the 30th time. It's put on the pitch, not on paper. But we have, I think, probably the second most interesting match of the match day. Seoul versus Athens. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. You have Goodrick, who has recently published an article of how he's a missionary for Death's Brood of Torment, where he spreads Ide the Khan's light. And, the disciples of this Death's Brood of Torment is called a desk. AI desk? Really, I have no idea. But apparently the man only gets 20 minutes of sleep, which is quite crazy. Goodrick, a convicted felon who used to be involved in the international crime ring, is a good man now. People can change. And I don't know what he was doing in prison. And I don't know, some people, change religions when they come out of prison. I don't think it has anything to do with that. But nonetheless, he's clearly seen a light. Is it going to be a light that brings Seoul forward? We'll see. And not to just harp on him, not harp, talk about him, right? Let's also mention Kawasaki. I'm so sorry for the name butchering. Who became a goalkeeper because of a horrific injury to the starting goalkeeper in his hometown of Zadar, Croatia. I'm excited to see him. But I think I've said so many praises for Satoshi since I've started commentating. He's a ridiculous goalkeeper. Ridiculous. Keeping a 0-0 scoreline against Montreal United. Montreal dominated that game watching it back. But Satoshi's just an absolute wall. He parks like a bus in front of his goal every single game. But here's Goodrick at the Hyungmin. Hyungmin is going to have a shot, but then it's rebounded off Morgenstern. But here's Goodrick and Satoshi finding his hands there. The Seoul 7 are fun to watch. But here's Osprey. Kawasaki making the switch from goalkeeper to center back. But here's Goodrick. Goodrick is going to play in the cross, but it finds no one. Bengt Ruben. Bengt Ruben's now going to take it up the field. And it finds Santori. Santori just has to beat Primaris and Asprey. And he does! It's 1-0 Athens. What a solo run. I think he took it from basically midfield. Yeah, he did. Look. Kaniki finds the pass to Santori. And Santori has to beat 2 defenders at a crazy angle. And he does. Ashby can't do much about it because the absolute rocket and the angle that he shoots at. Primaris could have closed him down a little bit more, but take nothing away from Santori. That was a wonderful goal. But here's Ahmed on the ball. Crosses it. It hits off the crossbar, and then it's cleared away by Panda. Kyungmin plays it back to Goodrick. Kyungmin is going to try to play it wide. But here's Satoshi. I hope one day I get to see the stadium at Athens, and I'd like to see if they've put up a statue there for him yet. Because frankly, you could name a stadium after him, after the performances that he's put in for Athens so far. But here's Santori again. Santori's going to find Kaniki, but then Osprey off the line. Barr is going to be able to take it out. Oh, no, but he picks it off of Lorenzo. and then finds Gibrahimovic. Dejiron is going to put in a cross. Yes, he does. It then finds Hyun-min, and he puts it in the back of the net. Oh, my word. End-to-end stuff. Koniki missing a valuable chance at the other end. Ashby making a crazy save. And then Dejiron is able to find his way on the other side of the pitch. Puts in a great cross to Hyun-min. The Athens defenders are unable to do anything about that. Here's Panda now. He's going to try to play it back. Finds his way to Still, and then Still plays it out to Criminal. Criminal then plays it to Lorenzo, who's playing quick football. Kaniki then finds Panda. Panda finds Santori. Santori's going to have a shot, but then it's blocked by Primaris. Primaris doing better than he did on that first Santori goal. Bank Ruben going to have a cross. But Kawasaki plays it out. Back to Bank Ruben. Bank Ruben, is he going to have a shot? He's just like kind of playing it across the box. But here's Lord Quavius. Lord Quavius gets then taken off the ball. Exciting stuff so far. Morgenstern plays it to Santori. Santori, short stature, but nonetheless, he's rapid. Vandersloth. Panda then loses out. Diavi Bar. It out to Dejiron. Dejiron's going to try to take it out on the wing. He finds Bar again. Bar, is he going to have a cross? He plays it all the way to the byline. He then plays it to the top of the box, but it's then headed away by Vandersloth. Now, Athenai are on the counter. Panda finds Bank Ruben. He's now going to try to have a cross, I believe. Yes, he does. It finds Vandersloth out on the top of the box, and then he hits it over the crossbar. That was a prayer and a half. Criminal to Lorenzo. Lorenzo plays it back to Still. Then Vandersloth plays it back to Lorenzo. Lorenzo's going to play it up the pitch finally. Panda now has the ball. He's going to try to weave in and out. He's trying to beat Dejiron. He puts on a cross. He doesn't find anyone, unfortunately. Stan is able to play it away. But here's Hyun-min already having a goal in this match, who then gets pickpocketed by Vandersloth. Vandersloth then plays it to Lorenzo, who plays it to Santori. Does a little bit of fancy feet. And then now we're out to Morgenstern. But here's Santori again. Has to beat Ashby. But he's offside and also hits the post. Santori actually made his way from defender to midfield, then to winger. So, I think he's already started this match, but he's an absolutely versatile player. But here's Diavi Var. Var plays it to Ahmed, who then plays it to Stain, and then it finds its way into the back of the net, but that was offside by Ahmed. That was a wondrous strike, but nonetheless, it was offside before it ever made its way to Stan, right? Yeah. Still then plays it out to Morgenstern. Morgenstern finds Vandersloth. He's being pressed by three men, but Santori finds the ball. He's going to play a pass for Kyung-min. No, he plays it back to Vandersloth. Vandersloth then finds Panda. Still taking his time on the ball. Gets pickpocketed by Gibrahimovic. Gibrahimovic then finds his way back to Goodrick. Goodrick then plays it back to Stan. And now Seoul is going to take their time. But here's Diavivar. He's going to then play to Ahmed. Ahmed's going to have the shot, and it goes wide over. I think that's going to be our last chance of the half. And it is. 1-1 after the half. Sorry. At the half. Not after. At the half. I don't know how to describe this game. I'll be honest. I'd say it's been the tale of two crazy attacking players in the name of Santori and Hyung-min, even though Hyung-min kind of plays a wingback. But nonetheless, I think that they kind of work in the same tandem of playing out on the wing, finding their way inside of the box, and then being able to slot away a fantastic finish. But Santori, it was a wonderful goal on his part. It's been super even. Super even. I mean, yeah, Seoul have had the most shots, but when you look at... The only thing that matters is if you're able to put them on target. And if we look at it, it's basically the same. Seoul maybe having one half chance more. But here comes some subs. I mean, it's been a good game so far. It's been a lot to commentate, that's for sure. I think both teams like possession. And one thing that I kind of dislike about, I guess, modern football and possession football is the constant need to play it back. I like to see, a team that pushes forward. Yes, there's always a time and a place to play back to your goalkeeper. But nonetheless, it's felt like a lot of the game has just been playing around the defense. But here's Dekiron playing out to Brad Lasso. Lasso then plays it to Kawasaki. Kawasaki then plays it back to Dekiron out on the outside. But then Satoshi is able to parry away Dekiron's shot. Dekiron now in the corner. He's going to find someone in the middle of the box. Finds Kawasaki. Kawasaki then heads it to Kaneki. Kaneki off the line is then able to place it to Santori, who then gets fouled. Goodrick on the ball. Plays it out to Ahmed. Ahmed then plays it back to Primaris. Here's Stain, taking his time. Primaris, Stain, and forgive me, Kawasaki are just a great back line. But here's Dekiron out on the wing. He's going to try to find another cross. Is he going to? He finds Barr. Barr then places it to Brad Lasso. Is Brad Lasso going to have a shot? Yes, he does. But Satoshi tips it over the ball. Barr. Jesus. Nonetheless, Nikolai Ahmed on the corner. Then plays it out to Barr. Barr is going to have a shot. Yes, he does. And then it's kind of, blocked away. Jeez. Dekiron now on the ball. Dekiron is going to find his way to Barr. Barr and Dekiron have been linking up all game, but Laura Quavius is there to take the ball off of Barr. And Stain is going to have a shot, and then it goes over the bar. Satoshi, another great performance. The match rating is nothing compared to Santori because Santori's been running around. But nonetheless, Satoshi's been there when it matters. And here's Stain. Stain plays it back to Primaris. Here's the kind of boring build-up play that I've been talking about. But now we're getting fast. Here's Goodrick. Goodrick plays it past Vandersloot. Vanda's now on the ball. Is he going to find a cross? He finds Ibrahimovic, who plays it back to Ahmed, who plays it out to Dekiron. Is he going to have a shot? Yes, he does. It's 2-1 Seoul. A link-up play from the Seoul 7, proving absolutely lethal. I don't think Ahmed is part of the 7, but nonetheless, Ibrahimovic then finds Ahmed, who plays it out wide to Dekiron. Dekiron's been out on that wing all game, and he finally finds a perfect shot, a lot like Santori's shot, that just finds his way to the top corner, away from the goalkeeper. Satoshi really can't do much about that. But here's Seoul on the corner. Finds Barr. Ibrahimovic, he's going to have a shot, but here's Satoshi again. Great save. Kawasaki then heads it over the bar. Fun fact about Lord Quavius. His first name's Bart, who has a brother named Art, whose father was a deadbeat. A long story that you should read his article about. I think it was his biography, if I remember correctly. But it was a good read. I liked it a lot. Here's Goodrick now. Goodrick is going to find his way past Vandersloot again this game. But here's Ibrahimovic and Satoshi. A wall once again, pairing it out. And it finds its way to a corner. Ehiro now on the corner. Waiting for the defenders to move up the pitch. And Stain heads it over. Goodrick's just been able to find so many passes past Vandersloot this game. But nonetheless, Lorenzo plays it back. Kawasaki finds the ball. Plays it all the way back to Osprey. Osprey then finds Stain. Stain's going to try to take it off the pitch. He does. Brad Lasso then plays up past the Bar. Bar is then going to play it back to Kawasaki, who then plays it back to Osprey, who then plays it forward to Primaris. And then Lasso then finds Ibrahimovic, who finds Dekiron again out on the wing, alone. Dekiron is going to try to beat Lord Quavius. He does. Ibrahimovic makes it 3-1. Ibrahimovic, his 9th goal of the season. Ridiculous. An absolute monster. I think he was taking maybe 4th or 5th round. Jeez. It's just there's no other way to describe that man. Absolutely lethal inside of the 18-yard box. He just finds his way on every single ball inside of the box. Dekiron's been on fire this game. Man of the match for sure. But you've had your supporting players. Ahmed's been great. Panda's been great. Kawasaki's been great. I thought, Goodrick had his moments. Stain's also been great. Seoul has just been absolutely outperforming Athenai. Like, here's Kaneki. Plays it out to Panda, who then plays it to Vandersloot. He's going to have a shot, but then it's blocked away. You could hear the boost from the fans. Here's Vandersloot. Now going to play in a cross. It's going to find it. No, but it finds Santori out on the wing. Is he going to put in a cross? Yes, he does. Morgenstern. That makes it 3-2. Nah, there's not. You can't have another goal in this. There's no way, right? The commentator's jinxed his bag. Nah, this is all over. I'm sorry. Santori finding his way again wide open, and Morgenstern is able to play quite the shot past Osprey. Yep, it's all over. Oh, no. It's over. It's over. Lord Quavius after Lorenzo. Lord Quavius, is he going to have a corner? He does. Is he going to find Santori? Oh, no, my God. Oh, my God. The post denies Santori. That was off the line. On a VAR check, it looked like it had crossed to me. If not, it was directly on the line. That was so unlucky from Santori. Nah. Athenai trying to find a moment of magic again after that wonderful equalizing goal against, who was it? Paris, right? Where Panda just finds his way at the end of the game to just play it past Kerrigan. But they couldn't find it this time. Santori just absolutely rocking it for Athenai. But nonetheless, Andre Dick Hiron is able to get the man of the match. That was wonderful. Athenai just finding their way back into the game right at the end. But Seoul have been absolutely lethal this game. Gibrahimovic, just a fantastic player. Hyung-min, another fantastic player. I can name off the whole lineup, but all I want to say is big props to Seoul. They've been fantastic. And I think that the race for the minor league title has just gotten a little bit more interesting, as I think now Seoul finds its way into second place. I love these two teams. Cairo City versus Inter London. I think you guys all know my affection for Ron Flex and Ultimus. Especially Ron Flex. And just the whole proportions of the Cairo City team. And Inter London has some great stars in there. Ryan van Eindhoven is just up there, and I think probably one of the best midfielders in the league. I don't think he'll, I don't think he makes probably top 3, but nonetheless, he's for sure in that top 5 for me. Underrated for Inter London. But nonetheless, we have, Cairo City's hasn't been great. Has not been great. And Inter London has been much better. Kaufman, I think, is another great player for Inter London that I want to mention. Actually, no, Seoul doesn't find his way into second place, unfortunately. Purely on goal difference. I think that Paris have a good chance to just kind of run away with the title. It's going to be hard for any other team to catch up with them, especially with the way that they've been playing. But here's Van Eindhoven, who plays it back to Bear. And then Bear just passes it to Ramos, and Ramos is going to have a lot of space. Is he going to find anyone? No, he does not. Q then absolutely whacks it out of the box. But here's Sinclair. Is Sinclair going to have a shot? Yes, he does. And is parried away by Neuer. Neuer, another great goalkeeper in the minor leagues. Has had some great performance so far this season. But here's Sturm. Sturm plays it in for Ultimus. But it's on the outside of the front. It's outside of the front post. Sturm is going to play another cross. It's going to find anyone. No, Kronkowski then plays it out. But it finds its way back to Sinclair. Sinclair's going to play it back to Ramos. Ramos is going to take his time. But no, he plays in a crazy ball. Who finds no one, unfortunately. But here's Narvaez. Narvaez Jr. He's going to find Sturm. And Sturm makes it 1-0 Cairo City. They're unable to keep the ball out of the net. Absolutely jumping over Bear, I believe. Narvaez plays in a great cross. Just stick it on his head. Corrigan, I think, he beats Bear. Corrigan is unable to really jump for that ball. Nonetheless, it's 1-0 Cairo City. Davidovic now is going to play it out wide. Is he going to find a cross? He finds Eindhoven, but here's Q who finds Dieter. Kaufman just kind of falls over in the middle of the box. Can we get a VAR replay of that? I don't think so, unfortunately. Makes me a little bit sad. I would have liked VAR. But nonetheless, wasn't not a penalty in the referee's eyes. I'm going to call it a dive. He should have gotten a yellow for that. But now Kane, is he going to find his way? No. Van Eindhoven now picks it up outside of the box. But here's Corrigan. Corrigan going to take his time, plays it back to Van Eindhoven. They're kind of just playing pass around, Corrigan and Van Eindhoven. Corrigan then loses the ball out to Ramos. Ronflex not starting today's game. Rotations are important in the minor leagues. That's for sure. You need to have game time for everyone. Haas this time makes the center back duo. But typically, Ronflex kind of plays as a DM. But nonetheless, no, yeah. Cabral now. Q then plays it back to Neuer. Oh my God! Neuer's able to just tip that wide. That was ridiculous. A terrible ball back to Neuer. Sturm is able to just about find that, but Neuer makes a last-ditch save. And Ultimus handled the ball clearly. The devil trying to get away with his little tricks. But here's Xavier's Kenderlin. Kenderlin then gets pickpocketed by Dieter. Dieter finds Van Eindhoven. And Eindhoven's going to find Davidovic. Takes his time. Kind of just walks back with the ball. Here. Gives it out to Cabral. Cabral's going to try to play it forward. He finds Dieter. Dieter finds Q. Kronkowski is now open. And Kandic is able to make a wonderful save. Oregon now on the corner. Kanders is able to save it. I don't know who headed it to him, but nonetheless, it was safe hands from Kanders. Kanders plays a heat-seeking missile to, unfortunately, no one. He's not able to pick it up. Ramos, he's going to try to play it out on the wing. He's going to beat Corrigan, sorry. He finds Sturm, and it's 2-0. Cairo City. That was unexpected for me. I thought that Neuer was going to come out and pick it up or something, but unfortunately, it was too high, and Sturm is just too tall. And he finds his head to the ball and is able to put it in the back of the net. Sturm is just massive. Sturm is just humongous. I don't know how else to describe him. Gargantuan. Throwing the lines for absolutely no reason. I think everyone and their mother could see that was clearly onside. Even their grandmother could have seen it. And my grandmother can't see much. Beard to Corrigan now. Corrigan is now going to play it out on the wing. He's just going to have a run at it. Slakteris. Oh, and then Davidovic inside the box. He's going to try to play it. Corrigan just has a wild shot over the ball. Ball, bar, blah, blah, blah. Tongue twisters at this point. Denstro. He's going to have the throw in. Ramos is going to find it back to Dane Destro. He's going to put in another cross for Sturm, but this time Neuer is able to tip it away. Neuer trying to put the team on his back, keep it at least 2-0. 2-0 is an achievable scoreline so that you can come and equalize, even maybe win it. But here's Kenderlin, who's going to find his way back out to Sturm. Sturm finds Ultimus, but Ultimus... No, sorry, Sturm was actually offsides. I hope Ultimus now doesn't put a curse upon me for mentioning his name in a poor light. But nonetheless. It's been a pretty dominant performance by Cairo. Inter London have had their small chances. You'd expect them to have maybe a goal. But unfortunately, it hasn't been so. But, I mean, I think Van Eindhoven putting another great performance. JQ has been an unspoken rock in the midfield. And Neuer, I think I've sang his praises all season, has been doing the best he can. Maybe he could have come out for that second goal. But, I mean, just Sturm is just so tall. And that was a rising ball. I mean, have the correct positioning there. And I don't think Neuer nor any of the defenders had that. And Sturm was just able to find his head on that. But here's Narvaez. Narvaez. But Naj now picks it up. Sinclair gives it away to Corrigan. And Corrigan's able to pass it back to Neuer. But here's Corrigan. Is he going to find someone in the middle of the box? Let's see. No, Ultimus is there. Naj is now going to play it out. Tries to clear it. And it finds its way back to JQ. JQ now plays it to Dieter. Dieter's going to play it to Kronkowski. Kronkowski now plays it all the way back to Cabral. Van Eindhoven's now going to pick it up maybe towards the middle of Cairo City's half. Dieter. Dieter, is he going to find Kronkowski? Yes, he does. Kronkowski is going to have the shot, but it's blocked by Sinclair. Corrigan now on the corner. Is he going to be able to find someone's head now? No, Sinclair. Cabral plays it back to Corrigan. Corrigan now plays it back to Cabral. And Ultimus is there. Haas just trying to press Corrigan, trying to make him sweat a little bit. But here's Slakteris. Dieter plays it past him. And then it's kind of ricocheted. Kaufman. Oh, sorry. Destro puts it out. I thought it came off of Kaufman, and went for a goal kick. But nope. It was Tank Destro on that. Dieter now. Ultimus finds his head to it and heads it away. But Dieter just finds his way back. And something happened there. I'll tell you what. Interlund now putting on the pressure. Biggs has been a very good player this game. Anders has also been a good goalkeeper for what it's worth. I mean, he played. He didn't save anything in the penalty shootout that I last commentated, but nonetheless, he was good in that game. Cairo is I think an underrated team. I think if they had maybe a couple of more pieces. Oh, but now Kanders kind of plays it out to Davidovic. Davidovic just plays it again straight to Kanders, or shoots it straight at Kanders. Better said, you had the whole net open there. I mean, Kanders was on the floor at that point. It would have been hard for him to get back up and then be able to make another diving save. But nonetheless, a poor shot by Davidovic, and Kanders is able to tip it wide again out for corner, and then it comes to nothing. Here's Dieter. Kaufman finds Kronkowski. He's going to find Kane. No, he takes it himself, but Kanders tips it over the bar. Kanders has been an absolute wall this game. Can't get much past him, but here's Corrigan. Where does I say that they're going to score? Nope. Van Eindhoven now picks it up outside of Cairo City's box. Dieter now plays it to Cabral. Cabral now finds Bear. Bear's going to have a shot, but it's wide over. Way over. Here, now in the corner. Is he going to find someone? Nope. Finds his way back to Dieter. Dieter very thankful for that. Van Eindhoven's going to have a shot, and this time it does find its way past Kanders. An absolute missile. Kanders can't do much about it. He still gets a hand to it. But nonetheless, with the absolute power behind that shot, Van Eindhoven finds a shot in the back of the net. Finds his shot in the back of the net. Better said. Dieter just finding... just an absolute rocket by Van Eindhoven. I think I've been giving him props all game. I think he's been a great player this season. As I said, top 5 midfielders for me this season. And it's a penalty! Kane taken down in the box by Narvaez. Kaufman to make it 2-2. Can Interlondon find their way back in this? Just like they did against Montreal. Kaufman! Yes, he does! It's 2-2 Interlondon. The German Kaufman. Kaufman just able to absolutely slaughter Kanders. Can't do much about that. Sent the absolute wrong way. And it's 2-2 Interlondon. Mention it again. I'll mention it maybe for the 30th, 100th time or something. 2-2 is a hard scoreline to keep. But here's Kenderlin trying to make it 3-2. Unfortunately, it comes just to a corner. Yeah, 2-0 is a scary scoreline to have. Interlondon, just like they did against Montreal, is able to tie back up. But here's Naj now in the corner. Cairo trying to find a winner. Naj for the corner. Is it in? Finds Ultimus. Ultimate plays it back to Sinclair. Sinclair's going to have a shot. But it goes straight to Neuer. Neuer able to get down quick enough. It's just about defending now for Interlondon. Can they see out a draw? But here comes Cairo again. Ramos now. Out to Tank Destro. Is he going to have a cross? Yes, he does. Is he going to be able to find Sturm? No, he finds no one. But here's Naj. The play's still alive. Kenderlin is just going to play it outside the box. Flacterus shoots it, but Davidovic is able to pick it up. No way. Into London now on the counter. Is Davidovic going to find one of his peers? Yes, he does. He finds Corrigan. Corrigan just plays it straight to Canders. And it looks like it's going to be all over very soon. Canders is just going to absolutely boot it, trying to find Sturm or just anyone up. But Ramos is just alone. Corrigan clears it poorly. But Ramos just plays it straight to Van Addenhoven. Again, finding the midfielder. Just roaming around the pitch and able to pick it up and able to send it to bed. And it ends 2-2. A crazy game. Something I didn't expect out of these two. But, nonetheless, a fantastic game. Fantastic. Tale of two halves. Cairo absolutely dominating the first. And Inter London just making their way back into the game. Able to find the equalizer. And it ended there. Fortunately, Cairo are going to have to just walk away with 1 point. You could 110% say dropping 2 points there. And Inter London able to gain a point out of something that seemed absolutely lost. Just absolutely great performance by Van Addenhoven. Sturm deservedly man of the match. Just because 2 goals and absolutely tower up there, up front. But Cairo City and Inter London, although they're, probably not the 2 best teams in the league, are delivering with some fine football. And now for our last game of the match day, Montreal United versus Krungtep. Montreal, tough season so far. It's been unfortunate for them. You had very high expectations for them going into the season. Nonetheless, it's not just the tactics that aren't right. It just happens to also be the players sometimes. You have young defenders in there. Xavier, I think, has been not the best defender this season, that's for sure. Sometimes finds his way to lose his man. Dobrich, you could say sometimes you're expecting a little bit more out of him. Takahashi's been great this season. I can't put any blame on him. And I think there was one more. Oh, yeah. Cade Power. How could I forget him? Cade Power's also been great. I think it's been Dobrich and Xavier that have been the unfortunate duo of the draftees. And you've had some underperformances from the likes of Dina Skovgaard. And just some other players. But here, Montreal's kind of coming out with a more defensive shape. We're going to probably miss a little bit of Cade Power's energy. That's for sure. Krungtep, Patterson, Caetano. 2 amazing players. But as we're looking at the table, Montreal finds themselves in 6th. And Krungtep, actually, this is a game for who's going to end the day in 5th, at least. I actually wasn't able to see if 4th was on 14th. But nonetheless, here we are. St. Clair plays it back to Pedersen. And Pedersen finds Millwall, and Millwall plays it back to Matthias Xavier. Going to be an interesting match. I think that I haven't seen Montreal this defensive all season. I think they've been happy with their 4 at the back, but when times get tough, you got to start changing stuff. But here, Bull just unable to take the ball. To Thiel plays it out to Roger. Caetano now on the ball, trying to take it forward. Finds Don Patterson. Don Patterson tries to find Roger, but it's blocked by Pedersen. Here's Skovgaard now. Skovgaard going to play it inside of the middle, taking their time. Finds it with to Xavier. Xavier then plays it to King. King plays it back to Williams. Dina Skovgaard now plays it back to King again. Finds his way to the midfield of Millwall. Millwall now plays it out to Dina Skovgaard. Skovgaard then taken off the ball by Johnny Elliott. Like, here's Bull. Bull finds Clark. Clark finds Skovgaard. Skovgaard has a shot, but it's just wide. Magnificent. King now plays it out to Dina Skovgaard. Skovgaard then finds Bull. Bull's going to try to take it out wide. Is Bull going to put in a cross? Yes, they do, but it's a low cross. Millwall then finds it back to Bull. And then Dobrich is there after I was talking so much smack. I'm not going to say smack. I was harping on Dobrich, that's for sure. Shuts me up. That's a fact. Second goal of their season. And now it's 1-0 Montreal. Maybe the 5-back is exactly what they were looking for. Millwall now to Bull. Dobrich just finds at the top of the 6-yard box. Is able to just absolutely slot it home. The Krung-Tep goalkeeper is unable to do much. But here's Johnny Elliott. Has a free kick, but it just ricochets off the wall. And it goes back to Knight. And Knight is going to try to take it out, but it comes to nothing. Ooh. Oh, no. Here's Johnny Elliott, probably one of the best players of Krung-Tep's season so far, is now injured. We'll see if the Simmer is able to come up and come back and fix this. Nonetheless, it's been a pretty great game so far. And here comes the super sub. Is this a super sub? I mean, it's their only sub, right? No, they have one more. I just don't know if they're a defender. Nonetheless, we'll see how this keeps on going. I don't know what's going on, but let's just talk about the game real quick. Montreal's been pretty dominant so far. I mean, we're only in the first 15 minutes. But nonetheless, I've been liking the way that they've kind of started out with the 5-back. I think they're going to keep it all game. It adds the extra defensive security. And I think Pedersen and Millwall are kind of there in the middle playing as 2 DMs. I want to see if either of them are playing volantes. I don't have the same tactical analysis as someone like Aegis might. But nonetheless, here comes the sub. Bushtit is also on the bench. But no, here comes Krung-Tep super sub. Simmer probably getting confirmation by the commissioner, just making sure that everything's all right. Nonetheless, give me a little bit of a break, and we're back. Mamba now in the corner. Mamba's gonna play it in. He's gonna find the head of anyone. Yes, it does. Tathil with the header makes it 1-1 Montreal. Not a single Montreal defender's head was there to block the shot, and Williams, it was kind of in an unsavable position. But nonetheless, it's 1-1. We have a game on our hands. 20 minutes, already 2 goals. Tathil's been a great center back all season. Like, here's Heather Bull. Bull's going to play in across now. Who finds Sinclair, but it's just way wide, unfortunately. Pedersen now plays it out to Clark. Clark finds Doridge. Doridge then plays it to Sinclair. Sinclair's going to have a run. Finds his way into the 18-yard, but Millwall is going to have a shot, but it goes way over. Yep. As I suspected, 2 volantes there. Allowing the 2 defensive mids able to find those spaces kind of towards the top of the 18-yard box, as you saw with Millwall. But here is Krung-Tep. Mamba trying to find a cross. Unfortunately, he's unable to. Sinclair finally plays it out to Heather Bull. Does Montreal have a counter? No. Super sub is there to stop Heather Bull. Dina Skovgaard. Skovgaard now plays it to Heather Bull. Bull finds Millwall. Millwall is going to find its way. Puts in the cross, but it's unfortunately... Oh, it's a penalty! Caetano was apparently too forceful. Here's Matthias Xavier. I've been hard on him, especially starting off the match. Is he going to shut me off just like Delbridge? Yes, he does. It's 2-1 Montreal. His 5th goal of the season. 4 of those coming from penalties. Pen Merchant, I think, is the only way to describe him. Matthias Xavier, some might say. Just an absolutely ridiculous for a center back to have 5 goals, 4 coming off of penalties. But you know what they say? Put a penalty in a center back's hand, they're just going to smack it home. And he did so there. But here's Dina Skovgaard. Oh, now finds it. Caetano just somehow finds his feet on the ball. But Millwall's able to absolutely take it off. Now Dobridge. Dobridge is going to find Millwall. Millwall then finds Clark. But it's blocked by Knight. Dina Skovgaard now in the corner. It's out by Tonto Tunt, but Dobridge puts it back in. And it's going to find his way to Billy Elliott this time. Amamba on the cross. He's going to have a shot, but it goes over. Williams he was close. I would have liked to see if that was on target. But here's King now. King plays it out to Millwall. Millwall finds Skovgaard towards the midfield. Plays it out wide to Clark. Clark plays it back in the middle. Now Dobridge. He's 1-on-1 with the keeper. But Magnificent is able to tip it over. Here's Heather Bull now on the corner. They have another corner to Montreal United Football Club. Magnificent punches it out. Interesting decision. King. Back to Xavier. Xavier plays it back to Millwall. Now kind of waiting patiently towards the midfield. Here's Skarsgård on the free kick. Plays a crazy pass to Clark. Makes it 3-1 Montreal. Absolute trickery from the Montreal attack. That was ridiculous. Skarsgård finds Millwall. Millwall finds the super sub, but the super sub gets pickpocketed by Clark, who hits it first time past Magnificent. We have one more goal before halftime. Dina Skarsgård places to Millwall. Back to Dina. Dina, are they going to find anyone? Finds Dobrich, but Dobrich has it over. Besides the first goal, have not been creating much. But nonetheless, here comes Sinclair. Sinclair takes it up the midfield, but now finds Dina Skarsgård out on the left. Dina Skarsgård plays it inside. It's then blocked away by Tathiel, I think. Skarsgård now towards the midfield. Plays it back to Xavier. And King is just going to play it out, and then halftime comes, calling. Great alliteration. Well, Montreal's been absolutely dominant. I think the XG speaks for itself. This time, I think it does reflect the game very, very well. Xavier's been pretty good. Don't like to give him too many props. But nonetheless, Skarsgård, I mean, both Skarsgårds have been great. Dina Skarsgård has had a lot of flack this season because of some poor performances. I think it was against Capstad especially. But this game, they've turned up. Here comes the second half. Mr. Roger now going to play it. Trying to work it up the midfield. Plays it back to Knight. Knight going to try to do the same, but out on the wing. Knight plays it all the way back to Green. Here's Knight. Knight plays it out to Elliott. Skarsgård is now going to absolutely boot it up the field. Bull is actually able to take it off Mamba. Now Bull. Here's Bull. Going to try to find their way past Mamba, but no, Mamba pickpockets Bull. Mamba's there going to find Elliott, but then hits it way over. Williams finds Xavier, who then finds Skarsgård. Skarsgård plays it all the way out to Clark. Dobrich now out on the wing. Has space. Gonna play it to Sinclair. Sinclair makes it 4-1. Their 9th goal of the season. Play Sinclair and you'll get some goals. This game, they've already gotten 2. An absolute wonderful brace. Dobrich finding himself in so much space there. Sinclair making the run in behind. And then Dobrich just able to find Sinclair. And Magnificent just beating at his near post. You could say they could have done better, but nonetheless, that was a great goal. Dobrich really performing this game. I mean, I think I gave him a little bit too much flack at the beginning of the game. But nonetheless, I think that Dobrich has really shut me up. But here's Knight. Knight plays it to Don Patterson. Patterson, who plays it all the way back to Green. But no, it's picked up by Dobrich. Dobrich, sorry. Sinclair now. Sinclair one-on-one. Then gets kind of marked down by Tathiel. Hunted down by Tathiel. But Heather Bull now able to play past the super sub. Finds way to Dina. Dina, they're going to have a shot. And then Tathiel gets in the way of the strike. Tathiel probably Krung Tep's man of the match so far. Dina Skarsgård now on the corner. Going to play it in. And it's headed away. Sinclair finds it at the edge of the box, but here's Super Sub. Trying to create the counterattack. Super Sub finds Don Patterson. Bilwan trying to track them down. Finds himself in front of Patterson, and Patterson shoots it wide. Patterson just does not have the legs for that. Millwall somehow just absolutely running back all the way from the opponent's box and able to track down Patterson. Patterson now on the ball. Plays it all the way back to Tathiel. Super Sub. Super Sub is going to try to play it out wide. Finding a little bit of confidence in the game. Super now finds Tonto, a great player. Tonto, is he going to have a shot? Yes, he does, but it's over. Clark now out to Pedersen. Pedersen finds Millwall. Millwall's going to take his time. Finds Skovgaard again. Skovgaard now going to try to play it out wide, but no. Pickpocketed by Dom Patterson. Caetano now plays it out to Tut. Tut finds his way to Roger. Roger going to try to take it up the pitch. He does. He's going to play it across for Elliott. Bailey Elliott puts it in the back of the net. It's 4-2. We have a game on our hands. It seemed like it was all over for Krung Tep, but they find a moment of magic, just playing balls, weaving inside and outside of the Montreal defense. Patterson just beat by Elliott. Quick fun fact about Tata Tunt. He's actually I guess the bastard, or not really a bastard, because Roy Keane does actually recognize him as his son. But it was a one-night stand between Jerry Halliwell and Roy Keane. And he was actually born with a mohawk. So most, I guess, male babies are typically born, no, this is a female, are typically born bald. Did not see that from Tonto Tunt, funny enough. But nonetheless, he has a mean scowl that frightens, that, when he was actually being birthed, it frightened the delivery staff. But here's Dobrich, has it way over. How dare he interrupt my whole explanation of Tonto Tunt's backstory? Please go read his background. It was quite fun. But nonetheless, one-night stand between Roy Keane and Jerry Halliwell. Apparently, Roy Keane is going to change the amount of times that he calls him, which is only once a month, to once weekly if he makes it to the majors. I think Tonto Tunt is proving that this season's performances shows that he's ready for Tenouchi Slan's main roster. But here's Clark. Clark cannot find their way past Knight. Billy Elliott going to play it out to Pedersen. Tom Patterson. Getting the names confused now. Billy Elliott out to Caetano. Patterson now is going to have to beat Williams. But Williams is able to tip it wide. Millwall, again, just kind of hunting down Patterson. I think Millwall's been told to specifically to specifically mark Patterson this game because he's been on him like an absolute dog. Over now. He's going to play it out to Bull. Clark. And it's offside. You were wondering there if you're going to see the same trickery that Montreal played for their second goal. No, sorry, third goal. But unfortunately, it didn't come off the same. But here's Gunnificent. Play it out. But it finds its way back to Montreal. Now Clark out on the wing. Dobrich is going to try to play it past Knight. Is unable to do so, but finds a pass to Clark. Clark now in the middle. He's going to find Millwall. Millwall has a shot, but it's out wide right. Closing in on the end of the game. Does Krung Tep have anything left in the tank? Gunnificent. Oh. No, doesn't find Dobrich, but finds Clark as Green is able to head it just straight to Clark. And here's Sinclair. Now Clark out on the edge of the box. Clark is going to try to find someone, finds no one. Here's Pedersen. They're going to have the shot. And it's just wide left. Very, very close. Maybe even touches the edge of the outside of the post. But here's Bull. Montreal not trying to give up. They want their fifth. Xavier just plays an absolute ball to Skovgaard. Plays it back to King. Now Sinclair's going to have a shot, and it goes wide right. Everyone wants their goal. But it's been quite the performance from just the whole midfield attack of Montreal. They've absolutely stolen the show. Krung Tep, when they've had their chances, have been clinical. But unfortunately, they aren't able to create much with that midfield. But here's Billy Elliott. Are they going to have a shot? Has an absolute shot, but unfortunately, nothing comes of it. Billy Elliott is made like a short tank. I don't know how else to describe it. Big build, short stature, smallish legs, but just his torso and up, just like an absolute rock. It's crazy. Williams is now gonna. Oh my God, what a throw! Call him a quarterback. Dina Skovgaard plays it out to Bull. Bull is now gonna try to find their way past the super sub. They do. They get inside of it, but Tathiel is there. King now plays it out to Skovgaard. Millwall finds Clark, and Elliott is able to put in quite the slide tackle. But here's Roger on the counter, but Xavier's there. Finds his way back to Billy Elliott. Billy Elliott's gonna try to continue the counter. Playing it all the way out the wing. Has beaten Clark. Is going to try to beat Williams. But unfortunately, he's unable to. And it's Patterson that finds themselves offside. As we're closing in the 95th minute. Ina Skovgard has one last corner, trying to make it 5-2. And it just finds absolutely no one. Super sub. It's all right. Green has it to safety. And it's going to be that. I think that is that. Yes, it is. The referee blows the whistle for the final leg of today's match day. And what a match day it's been. Paris, an absolutely dominant performance. Montreal finally picking up a win after 6 games without a win. It's been ridiculous, but is this a new lifeline for Montreal? Can they make a run out of this? We will see. We saw, I'm blanking on their name. Reykjavik have a very poor start to the season, but nonetheless, they were able to still win the majors title last season. So we'll see how this turns out. Heather Bull, deservingly man of the match. Patrick Dobich, I have to give him so many props. At the beginning of the game, I was like, he hasn't been the greatest draftee, especially given that he was, drafted the first round. But he shut me up. I want to see more performances out of him like that. Just an absolute fantastic player. He has the skill. He has, all the attributes and everything. But so far, it just hasn't been that clinical. But as we end the match day, Montreal finds themselves in 5th. 4 points off of Capstad, and a whole 10 points off of first place. 10 is a hard point deficit to climb. But I think Man City was down also 9, 10 points, behind Liverpool going into the December break. And we're midway into the season. Midway. There's 18 games total. You have, how many points there to pick up? I can do math. 27 points to pick up there. 9 times 3 is 27. That is true. But nonetheless, we find AS Paris at the top of the table to end the match day. And that was very, very fun. Thank you for accommodating me with this fixture. And I'm excited to see you guys next time. So thank you and have a great rest of your day. Goodbye.